Was good, y'all? Red Sosa back in the building with another banger, man. Now, first things first, before we go ahead and get started, thank you, God, for another day and opportunity. Now, I got a very special video in store for y'all, to those of you who decided to tune in today. But before all that, y'all already know what y'all need to do. Be sure to hit that sub button if you're new. Go ahead and turn on post notifications to be a part of the Rich family. And let's go ahead and reach 50 likes on today's video. Now, as y'all can see from the looks of the title on the screen, I was thinking these are going to be the top 3 best builds to make if they keep the build system the same for 2K23. Now, for everybody who does not know, for NBA 2K23, both on current as well as next gen, the builder system is going to be the exact same thing. Now, let's go ahead and get started. The first build that I'm going to be making is going to be a point forward, so go ahead and make this build out of the small forward position. I'm going to go ahead and make this build at 6'7". Now, when it comes down to the weight, go with 181 or the lowest. As for the wingspan, I'm going to go with 7'1". Now, right here, we're going to be able to get a total of 25 finishing badges. The main thing about this build is that we're going to be able to get post-scoring takeover, but also when it comes down to the driving dunk, we're going to be able to get easily contact dunks as well on this build. Now, for the shooting, I'm going to go with an 82 for the mid-range, max out that three-pointer, and then for the free throw, I'm going to go with the 61, and right here, we get a total of 24 badges. Now, for the playmaking, remember, we are a point forward, so the playmaking stats should pretty much be better than any build when it comes down to this area. So I'm going to go with a 92 pass accuracy, max out the next 2 areas, and then right here, we get 28 total playmaking badges. Now, for the defensive end, we're looking pretty solid as well. We're going to be able to get 22 badges here. Now, really consider adding on a total of 8 to 9 extra badges since we are in season 9, and they have given us the opportunity to actually get extra badges throughout the year. Now, for the physicals, I'm going to max out the speed, go with the 78 acceleration, make sure you go with at least a 70 vertical, and then when it comes down to the stamina, you could go anywhere from max all the way down to an 80. Now remember, this should all be based off your own preference, but for my liking, I always do make my taller dribblers at least 6'7". Now, for the ball handle, we have everything that we're going to need, and especially for the shooting, once we go ahead and take a look at the takeovers, this is going to give us an even bigger boost. So we get the slashing, shot creating, playmaking, and like I said earlier, the post scoring. So however you decide to go about it, make sure it's all based off your own play style and preference. For my liking, just to be more unique, I would really consider the post scoring, but ankle breaking shots for the first takeover would make a huge difference. Now the second one, if you want to go ahead and just be more unique, I would really consider the slashing or the post. And as y'all can see at number 1, we were able to create a point forward at 6'7" with contact dunks as well as post scoring takeover. Now coming up at number 2, I'm telling y'all, this is going to be another solid lockdown defender and sharpshooter build. The two-way sharp, but with this build, we're going to be 6'8", making it out of the small forward position, and I'm telling you, everything with this build, you're going to be able to pretty much do on the offensive as well as the defensive area. So for those of y'all who had made it to this point of the video, go ahead and comment down right now. Where are you tuning in from, watching today? And I'm just going to go ahead and say, going into 2K23, you are most definitely going to want to go ahead and turn on those post notifications because I'm uploading every single day. And once it comes down to the weekends, you're going to start seeing those double uploads. So let's go ahead and get started by putting this build under the small forward position. Now again, you can make any adjustments towards any of these builds to your own liking. But for the height on this one, I'm going to be going with 6'7" or 6'8". Now, you can actually make it out of both heights, but for the best, I would really have to say 6'8" is going to be better. 6'7" is more of a guard, but 185 for the weight if you go with 6'7", 7'1" for the wingspan, and that's pretty much going to be everything that you need to set this build up correctly. Now, if you want to go with 6'8", the only reason why I did end up changing it is because I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I'm going to be able to guard multiple different positions. So I want to be able to play on inside, but also as well on the outside just as good. So everything is pretty much going to remain the same. But as far as when it comes down to the attributes, we're going to go ahead and do the same exact thing for the finishing. So as you can see, with the close shot, I'm going to go with an 84. As for the driving layup, I'm going to go with an 82. 85 driving dunk, and then when it comes down to the standing dunk, I'm going to go with an 81 for a total of 26 badges. Now, for the shooting, I'm going to go with an 87 midi, 83 when it comes down to the three-pointer, and then for the free throw, I'm going to go with a 73, and that's going to bring us up to a total of 28 badges. Now, for the playmaking, we're going to be pretty solid out of this area as well. Go with an 86 pass accuracy, max out the ball handle and the speed with ball. 25 badges right here. Now, you cannot go anything higher than a 79 perimeter defense, but as you can see, we're going to be pretty balanced. Now, if you add on the extra 9 badges, since we are in Season 9, using this build for 2K22, going to make this build even more better and all around, but 25 when it comes down to the defensive area. Now, for the physicals, I'm going to go with an 80 speed. Acceleration will be a 78. 70 for the vertical, as well as an 86 stamina, or you can make your own adjustments to get the numbers that you want. But as for the takeovers, we're going to be able to get the slashing takeover, shot creating, sharpshooting, as well as the playmaking. Now, however you decide to go about it, make sure it's all based off your own preference. I'm going to go with the shot creating and the sharpshooting, and as y'all can see at number 2, we have created the two-way sharpshooter. Now, we have one final build on this list that you should be making if the builder is going to remain the same for 2K23. Now, this is going to be more of a stretch big with a lot of defensive attributes put into it. So, a two-way stretch glass cleaner with shot creating takeover, which means at the power forward being 6'10". You're going to be able to break ankles and get some of the best animations. Now, out of all builds on this list, I'm telling y'all, this is probably my favorite big man to use, especially if you're going to go ahead and be more versatile. Now, let's go ahead and talk about this build just a little bit. Not only are you going to be able to dribble, but you're going to be able to shoot just as good as any other build at any other height. Now, let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing that we need to go ahead and do is make sure that you make this build out of the power forward position. But when it comes down to the actual physicals, this should all be based off your own preference. I know people have made this build at 6'8" and even 6'9", but if you even want to go ahead and try to make it out of the center position, that should all be based off your own preference. Now, I'm going to go out of the power forward like I said, but when it comes down to the height, go with 6'10". You can go ahead and try to test the waters if you want to go with a different height, but I'm telling y'all, this is going to be the very best way to go about it. Now, for the weight, go with 210, and the wingspan will be 7'3" with a built body shape. Now, let's go ahead and get started with the finishing. As for the close shot, what I'm going to do is go with the 73. Then when it comes down to the driving layup, I'm going to go with an 86. Now, for the driving dunk, this is all based off my personal preference, but I'm going to go ahead and put this to an 80. As for the standing dunk, I'm going to go ahead and put this to a 92, and right here, we get a total of 25 finishing badges. Now, if you want to, you can take off any area or attributes of this build to your own liking, but I like 25 finishing when it's all said and done. Now, for the shooting, max out that mid-range as well as the three-pointer. That's going to bring us up to 27 shooting badges. Then for the free throw, I'm going to go with an 82. And we pretty much get everything that we're going to want out of this build, especially when it comes down to the badges. Now, for the playmaking, I'm going to go with an 85 pass accuracy. As for the ball handle, I'm going to go with the 70. You really don't need to go anything higher than this. And we actually still do get a total of 17 badges. But let's go ahead and see what this build is able to do on the defensive end. So I'm going to go with an 80 interior defense. When it comes down to the perimeter, I'm going to go with the 75. 68 for the steal. Now, for the block, I'm going to max this out, and then for the rebounding, I'm going to go with an 83 offensive as well as an 82 defensive for a total of 31 badges. Now, again, this is all based off my own preference. You can make any adjustments to your own liking. For the physicals, I'm going to go ahead and max out that speed, acceleration, same exact thing. Now, when it comes down to the physicals for the speed, I'm going to go ahead and make sure this is the #1 point of this build. But as for the vertical, go with the 77, go with the 90 stamina, and this is what the build is going to be able to do. Now, with the takeovers, you really have to consider, when you add them on, you're going to be able to get a +10 when activated. Now, that does not matter if you pick 2 of the same takeovers or 2 different ones. So we get the shot creating, sharpshooting, then also the glass cleaning with the rim protecting. So for my liking, if you want to break ankles, I would really recommend going with ankle breaking shots. Secondly, I'm going to go ahead and say sharpshooting. And for those of y'all who made it to this point of the video, go ahead and turn on post notifications to be a part of the Rich family. Let's reach 50 likes on today's video, and do not forget to comment down below. Where did you tune in from watching today? But let's go ahead and finish out this build. I'm going to go with possibly paint intimidation or even the glass cleaning takeover. Make sure you pick your own preference. And as y'all can see at number 3, we have created the two-way stretch glass cleaner. And again, thank you God for this opportunity. And with all that being said, Rich out.